Silence is the most powerful force in the universe. Yet, we run from it. We fear it. We fill our lives with noise, with chatter, with constant stimulation. But I'm here to tell you something that might just change your life. Oh, I know what you're thinking. Just by being silent? That can't be right. But let me ask you this. Have you ever truly tried? Have you ever embraced silence, not as an absence, but as a presence, as our tool, as a weapon? Because you see, silence is not emptiness. Fullness is the space where greatness is born. It's the womb of creation. It's the forge where your destiny is shaped. Think about it. Every great idea, every world-changing invention, every paradigm-shifting revelation, where did it come from? Not from the noise, not from the chaos. It came from the silence. It came from those moments when someone dared to step away from the clamor of the world and listen to the whispers of their own soul. Silence isn't just about ideas. It's about power. It's about influence. It's about becoming the kind of person who can move mountains with a whisper. But you want to know why? The most powerful people in the world often say the least because they understand this secret. They know that true power doesn't come from talking. It comes from listening, from understanding. When you're silent, you're not just quiet. You're alert, you're aware. You're absorbing everything around you. You're becoming a sponge for wisdom, for knowledge, for opportunity. On something else. When you're silent, you become mysterious. Mystery is magnetic. People are drawn to those they can't quite figure out. They're intrigued by those who don't feel the need to fill every moment with words. To be silent isn't just about what others see. It's about what happens inside you. In the silence, you start to hear your own voice, your true voice. Not the voice of your fears, not the voice of your doubts, not the voice of society telling you who you should be. But the voice of your authentic self, the voice of your purpose. When you start listening to that voice, that's when miracles happen. That's when you start aligning with your destiny. That's when you start attracting everything you've ever wanted in life. Now, I'm not saying you should never speak. Communication is important. But I'm saying that you need to learn the power of strategic silence. The power of speaking only when you have something truly valuable to say. The power of letting your actions speak louder than your words. Imagine for a moment a world where everyone was constantly talking. Where everyone was always trying to be heard. It would be chaos, wouldn't it? Nothing would ever get done. No one would ever truly listen. No one would ever truly understand. Well, now, imagine a world where people understood the power of silence, where they spoke only when necessary and listened deeply the rest of the time. Can you see how much more peaceful that world would be? How much more productive? How much more enlightened? That's the world I'm inviting you to create, starting with yourself. I did. Now, I know it's not easy. We live in a world that's addicted to noise, a world that's uncomfortable with silence. A world that equates being quiet with being weak or unimportant. But I'm here to tell you that nothing could be further from the truth. The strongest people I know are often the quietest. They're the ones who don't need to prove themselves with words. They're the ones who let their actions, their achievements, their character speak for them. Think about the great leaders of history. The ones who truly changed the world, were they the loudest? Were they the ones constantly seeking attention? No. They were the ones who knew when to speak and when to be silent. They were the ones who understood that true leadership isn't about making noise. It's about creating space for others to find their own voice. And that's what silence does. It creates space. Space for growth, space for reflection, space for transformation. When you embrace silence, you're not just changing your behavior. You're changing your entire way of being. You're shifting from a reactive mode to a proactive mode. You're no longer at the mercy of the world's noise, but you're in control. You're the master of your own destiny. But here's the beautiful paradox. The more you embrace silence, the more people will want to hear what you have to say. Because when you speak from a place of silence, your words carry weight. They carry wisdom. Yes, they carry power. Think about it. We've all been in situations where someone wouldn't stop talking, where they filled every moment with words. Did we respect them more? Did we value their opinion more? But then think about those rare individuals who speak seldom. But when they do, everyone listens. Everyone leans in. Everyone knows that what they're about to say is important. And that's the kind of person you can become when you embrace the power of silence. Now, I'm not saying this transformation happens overnight. Like any powerful tool, silence takes practice to master. It takes discipline. It takes courage. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. You might feel the urge to fill the silence, to jump into every conversation, to offer your opinion on everything. Resist that urge. Embrace the discomfort. Because on the other side of that discomfort is power, is wisdom, is everything you've ever wanted in life. Not small. Set aside a few minutes each day for silence. No phone, no TV, no distractions. Just you and your thoughts. At first, your mind might race. It might rebel against the quiet. That's okay. That's normal. Just observe those thoughts without judgment. Let them pass like clouds in the sky. As you practice, you'll start to notice something amazing. The noise in your mind will start to quiet down. The constant chatter will start to fade. And in that space, you'll start to hear something else. Something profound. The voice of your true self, the voice of your purpose. And when you start listening to that voice, that's when your life will start to transform. That's when you'll start attracting opportunities you never thought possible. That's when you'll start becoming the person you were always meant to be. When it's not just about personal transformation. When you embrace silence, you become a beacon of calm in a chaotic world. You become a source of stability for others. You become someone people trust, someone people respect, someone people want to follow. Think about the last time you were in a crisis. Who did you turn to? The person who was panicking, who was adding to the noise, or the person who remained calm, who listened, who spoke only when necessary? That's the power of silence. It's not just about personal success. It's about becoming a leader, a true leader, the kind of leader this world desperately needs. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what about self-expression? What about speaking up for what's right? And you're absolutely correct. There are times when we need to speak up, when we need to use our voice for good. Come place of silence. When you speak only when truly necessary, your words carry so much more weight. They have so much more impact because people know that when you speak, it's important. Imagine if every word you spoke was like a precious gem. Rare, valuable, carefully chosen. How much more attention would people pay to what you say? How much more influence would you have? That's the power of strategic silence. It's not about never speaking. It's about making your words count. It's about quality over quantity. When you're silent, you give others the opportunity to reveal themselves. You learn so much more about people when you're not constantly talking. You see their true colors. You understand their real motivations. In business, in relationships, in any area of life, this knowledge is power. It allows you to make better decisions, to form stronger alliances, to avoid potential pitfalls. But perhaps the most beautiful thing about embracing silence is the inner peace it brings. In a world that's constantly demanding our attention, that's constantly pulling us in 1,000 different directions, silence is a sanctuary. It's a place of rest, of renewal, reconnection with our true selves. When you're comfortable with silence, you're only alone. Because in the silence, you find the most important companionship of your own soul. And from that place of inner peace, of self-knowledge, of quiet confidence, you become unstoppable. Because you're no longer driven by the need for external validation. You're no longer swayed by every passing opinion or trend. You're anchored in something deeper. Something true, something unshakable. That's when you start attracting everything you've ever wanted in life. Because you're no longer chasing it. You're no longer desperately trying to prove your worth through words. And in that state of being, you become a magnet for success, for love, for fulfillment. People are drawn to those who have found inner peace. They're drawn to those who don't need to constantly assert themselves. They're drawn to those who have the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who they are and what they stand for. And that's the paradox of silence. The less you speak, the more people want to listen to you. The less you try to prove yourself, the more respect you command. The less you chase. Let me be clear. This isn't about becoming passive. It's not about withdrawing from the world. It's about engaging with the world from a place of inner strength, of deep wisdom. It's about becoming the eye of the storm. Calm and powerful. While everything around you might be in chaos, you remain unshaken, unruffled. And from that place of inner calm, you can take action more effectively than ever before. Because your actions will come from a place of clarity, not reactivity. They'll come from wisdom, not impulse. Think of the great martial artists. Are they constantly in motion? Constantly attacking? No, they're still calm, centered. And when they move, it's with precision, with purpose. And that's how you want to move through life. Not frantically, trying to make things happen, but calmly, confidently, allowing things to unfold, trusting in the power of silence to bring you everything you need. Now, I know some of you might be skeptical. You might be thinking, but I need to network. I need to promote myself. I need to speak up to get ahead. And yes, there's a time and place for all of that. But what I'm suggesting is a fundamental shift in how you approach life. Instead of trying to fill every moment with activity, with words, with noise, learn to appreciate the power of stillness, of simply being present. When you master this, you'll find that you don't need to chase opportunities. They'll come to you. You don't need to convince people of your worth. They'll see it in your quiet confidence, in your composed demeanor, in the weight of your carefully chosen words. There's something else to consider. And a world where everyone is clamoring for attention, where everyone is trying to be heard, silence makes you stand out. It makes you intriguing. It makes people want to know more about you. Think about it. If you're at a party and everyone is talking loudly, trying to be the center of attention, who's the most interesting person in the room? Often it's the quiet one, the one who's observing, the one who speaks only when they have something truly valuable to contribute. That's the power of silence. It sets you apart, makes you memorable. It makes you someone people want to know better. But remember, this isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate people. It's about authentically embracing the power of silence. It's about truly valuing your words, your energy, your presence. When you do this, you'll find that your relationships deepen. Because instead of just waiting for your turn to speak, you'll truly listen. You'll truly understand. You'll truly connect. In your career, you'll find that you make better decisions. Because instead of reacting impulsively, you'll take the time to observe, to reflect, to consider all angles before you act. In your personal growth, you'll find that you evolve faster. Because in the silence, you have the space to truly examine yourself, to confront your fears, your limiting beliefs, your true desires. And in your spiritual life, if that's important to you, you'll find that silence opens up new dimensions of understanding. Because it's in the silence that we often feel most connected to something greater than ourselves. And we'll be clear. Our embracing silence doesn't mean becoming a hermit. It doesn't mean never speaking or never engaging with the world. It means being intentional about when you speak and what you say. It means valuing quality over quantity in your communications. You can think of it like this. The very word you speak is an investment wisely, or are you squandering your resources on meaningless chat? When you start treating your words as valuable, you'll find that others do too. When you start respecting silence, you'll find that others respect you more. And here's the beautiful thing. As you embrace silence, you'll find that your intuition grows stronger. Because when you're not constantly drowning it out with noise, you can hear that still, small voice inside you. The voice that knows, the voice that guides you towards your true path. That intuition, that inner guidance, worth more than any advice anyone could ever give you. It's your direct line to wisdom, to truth, to your highest potential. You can only access it in the silence, in the stillness, in those moments when you dare to be quiet and listen. Now, I know that in our fast-paced world, embracing silence can seem counterintuitive. We're taught that we need to be constantly productive, constantly communicating, constantly on. What if the most productive thing you could do was to be still? To be silent, to allow yourself the space to truly think, to truly feel, to truly be. What if, instead of trying to force things to happen, you allowed them to unfold naturally? What if, instead of always trying to be in control, you surrender to the wisdom of silence? I promise you, when you do this, miracles start to happen. Opportunities you never could have imagined start to appear. People start to be drawn to you in ways you never expected. Because when you're silent, you become a mystery. And humans are naturally drawn to mysteries. We want to solve them. We want to understand them. We want to be close to them. What more than that? When you're silent, you become powerful. Because you're no longer at the mercy of your impulses, your reactions, your need for validation. You're in control. You're the master of your own energy, your own presence. And that, my friends, is true power. Not the kind of power that comes from dominating others or from making the most noise, but the kind of power that comes from being truly centered, truly authentic, truly at peace with yourself. That's the kind of power that changes the world. Not through force, not through manipulation, but through presence, through example, through the magnetic pull of a person who has found their center in the silence. I want you to embrace the power of silence. Make it your friend. Make it your tool. Make it your superpower. Those motive you need to. Take a few minutes each day to just be silent. To turn off all distractions and just be with yourself. Notice what comes up. Notice the thoughts, the feelings, the insights that arise when you give them space to emerge. As you get more comfortable with silence, extend these periods. Maybe take a day each week for a silence fast where you speak only when absolutely necessary. Notice how this changes your perceptions, your interactions, your energy. And in your daily life, start becoming more intentional about when you speak and what you say. Before you open your mouth, ask yourself, is this necessary? Is this true? If not, perhaps silence. Remember, every time you choose silence over pointless chatter, you're investing in yourself. You're growing stronger. You're becoming more centered. You're aligning more closely with your true self and your true purpose. And as you do this, watch how your life begins to transform. Watch how opportunities start to flow to you effortlessly. Watch how people start to be drawn to your quiet strength. Your deep presence, your authentic power is the truth. You know, a world full of noise, silence is the ultimate differentiator. In a world of constant motion, stillness is the ultimate power move. In a world of endless chatter, full words are the ultimate currency. So be silent, my friends, be still. Be at peace. And watch as the universe conspires to bring you everything you've ever dreamed of. Remember, real true power doesn't shout. It whispers. True confidence doesn't boast. It simply is. True wisdom doesn't preach. Listen. Listen to the silent. Listen to the wisdom that can only be heard when all other voices fall away. In that silence, you'll find your truth. You'll find your power. You'll find your path. And then once you found these things, nothing and no one will be able to shake your foundation. You'll stand firm in the face of life's storms, rooted in the deep silence within you. This inner strength, born of silence, becomes your greatest asset. It's a wellspring of resilience that never runs dry. When challenges arise, and you'll face them not with panic or desperation, but with a calm, centered presence. Think about the great leaders throughout history. The ones who truly made a difference, they weren't the loudest or the most talkative. They were the ones who knew the power of silence, of reflection, of inner calm. In your own life, as you cultivate this power, you'll notice a shift. Decision-making becomes clearer. You're no longer swayed by every passing opinion or fleeting emotion. Instead, you tap into a deeper wisdom. This clarity extends to your relationships too. When you're comfortable with silence, you create space for genuine connection. You listen, truly listen, without the need to interject or impress. And in that listening, you understand others on a level you never thought possible. It's not just about understanding others. It's about understanding yourself. In the silence, you start to unravel the layers of conditioning, of societal expectations, of false beliefs that have been holding you back. You begin to see yourself as you truly are, not as others expect you to be. Self-knowledge is transformative. It allows you to align your actions with your true values, your authentic self. And when you're living in alignment like this, success becomes almost effortless. You're no longer swimming against the current of your own nature. You're flowing with it. Now, some might worry that embracing silence means becoming passive or unambitious. Nothing could be further from the truth. The most powerful action comes from a place of inner silence. It's deliberate, focused, and incredibly effective. Think of it like martial arts. The most skilled practitioners aren't constantly in motion. They're still centered, aware. And when they move, it's with purpose and precision. That's how you want to move through life. Not with constant activity, but with purposeful action rooted in inner calm. As you embrace this way of being, you'll find that your influence grows. People are naturally drawn to those who exude calm confidence. They trust those who listen more than they speak. They respect those who choose their words carefully. Person finds in your career, this translates to leadership opportunities. Not the kind of leadership that's about barking orders or dominating others, but true leadership, the kind that inspires, that elevates, that brings out the best in everyone around you. In your personal life, it means deeper, more meaningful relationships. Because when you're not constantly trying to fill the air with words, you create space for real intimacy, for genuine understanding in your spiritual life, if that's important to you. Silence becomes a gateway to profound experiences. It's in the silence that many find their deepest connection to something greater than themselves. You see it? This journey into silence isn't always easy. We live in a world that's uncomfortable with quiet, a world that equates silence with awkwardness, with lack of confidence, with having nothing to say. You might find that as you embrace silence, some people don't understand. They might try to fill the space with chatter. They might misinterpret your calm as aloofness or your reflectiveness as disengagement. Only this detail here. Remember, you're not doing this for them. You're doing it for you, for your growth, your peace, your power. And over time, as they see the positive changes in you, the increased calm, the clearer decision making, the deeper relationships, they'll start to understand. Some might even be inspired to follow your example. As you continue on this path, you'll discover that silence has many facets. There's the outer silence, the absence of noise, of unnecessary speech. But there's also inner silence, the quieting of the constant chatter in your mind. This inner silence is perhaps the most powerful of all. It's where true creativity is born. It's where solutions to seemingly impossible problems emerge. It's where you tap into levels of focus and productivity you never thought possible. Cultivating this inner silence takes practice. At first, when you try to quiet your mind, you might find it rebels. Thoughts race, worries surface, distractions abound. This is normal. Simply observe it without judgment. Over time, with consistent practice, the inner noise will start to subside. As it does, you discover a whole new world opening up within you. Ideas that were drowned out by mental noise suddenly become clear. Intuitions that you couldn't hear before start to guide you. You become more attuned to the subtle currents of life, able to navigate with a grace and ease that seems almost magical to others. This inner silence also becomes a source of tremendous energy. When you're not constantly draining your mental and emotional resources on needless chatter, both inner and outer, you'll find you have more energy for the things that truly matter. Your work becomes more focused, more impactful. Your hobbies more enjoyable. Your rest more rejuvenating. Every aspect of your life is enhanced by this newfound energy, this deeper connection to yourself and the world around you. But perhaps the most beautiful thing about embracing silence is the sense of peace it brings. In a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming, you become an oasis of calm. Not just for yourself, but for others too. People will start to notice this change in you. They might not be able to put their finger on exactly what's different, but they'll feel it. Your presence will become a source of comfort, of stability. In times of crisis, you'll be the one people turn to because they sense your unshakable inner peace. This peace isn't passive. It's not about withdrawing from the world or avoiding challenges. Instead, it's a dynamic peace that allows you to engage with life more fully than ever before. Because when you're not caught up in mental noise, you're free to be fully present in each moment. And it's in this presence, this full engagement with life, that true joy is found. Not the fleeting happiness that comes from external circumstances, but a deep, abiding joy. As you continue to cultivate silence in your life, you'll find that your perception of time changes. When you're constantly busy, constantly talking, time seems to fly by in a blur. But in the silence, you become more aware of each moment. Time seems to expand. You find you can accomplish more while doing less. This shift in perception extends to your understanding of success too. Society often equates success with noise, with being the loudest voice in the room, with constant activity, with visible achievements. But as you embrace silence, you'll start to redefine success on your own terms. You realize that true success isn't about accumulating things or achievements. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. It's about making a positive impact on the world around you. It's about finding peace and contentment within yourself. And paradoxically, when you stop chasing success and instead focus on cultivating your inner silence, outer success often follows naturally. Because you're no longer driven by fear or ego, but by a deeper wisdom. Your actions become more aligned, more authentic, and therefore more effective. This journey into silence will also transform your relationship with fear. So often, we talk to drown our fears. We stay busy to avoid facing them. But in the silence, you learn to sit with your fears, to observe them without being controlled by them. As you do this, you'll find that many of your fears lose their power over you. They're exposed for what they really are. Mostly imaginary scenarios created by your mind. And for the fears that are based on real challenges, you'll find you can face them with a newfound courage and clarity. This courage born of silence will allow you to take risks you never would have considered before. Not reckless risks, but calculated ones. Because in the silence, you develop a keener sense of what's truly important, what's truly worth pursuing. You'll dare to dream bigger, to reach higher. Not out of a need to prove yourself or impress others, but because you're in touch with your genuine desires and capabilities. Get on. And as you step into these new challenges, you'll do so with a quiet confidence that others will find magnetic. You won't need to boast about your accomplishments or constantly seek validation. Your actions, your presence will speak louder than any words could. This confidence will be unshakable because it's not based on external factors. It's not dependent on success or failure, on praise or criticism. It's rooted in your connection to your inner silence, your true self. As you move through the world with this quiet strength, you'll find that your impact grows exponentially. Not because you're trying to influence others, but simply because of who you've become. Your example will inspire others to find their own inner silence. Your calm presence will help others find peace in stressful situations. Your thoughtful words, spoken sparingly but with intention, will carry weight and wisdom. Here's a beautiful truth. As you embrace silence and all the gifts it brings, you'll find that you have more to give to others. Because you're no longer depleted by constant noise and activity, you have more energy, more wisdom, more love to share. Your relationships will deepen. Your work will become more meaningful. Your life will take on a richness and depth that you never imagined possible. All of this, the peace, the power, the joy, the success, springs from one simple choice. The choice to embrace silence, to value it. It's a choice you can make right now. In this moment, you don't need any special tools or techniques. You don't need to go on a retreat or read 100 books. All you need is the willingness to be still. Be silent. To listen. Listen to the wisdom within you. Listen to the world around you. Listen to the spaces between words, between thoughts, between breaths. In those spaces, in that silence, you'll find everything you've been looking for. Everything you need. Everything you are. So take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. And in the silence that follows, begin your journey. A journey to your true self. A journey to a life of power, of peace, of purpose. Remember the greatest truths. The most profound insights. Their most transformative realizations. They all emerge from silence. They can't be put into words. They can only be experienced. Experience them. So experience them. Dive deep into the silence within you. Explore its depths. Embrace its power. And watch as it transforms every aspect of your life. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And the journey to a life of power and purpose begins with a single moment of silence. That moment is now. Embrace it. And let it embrace you. And in the silence, you'll find your voice. In stillness, you'll find your strength. In quiet, you'll find your way. Be silent and you will get everything in life. Everything that truly matters, everything that truly lasts, everything that truly fulfills. Your choice is yours. The time is now. The power is within you. In silence, find your truth. In silence, find your power. In silence, find yourself. And once you found yourself in the silence, you'll never be lost again.